Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark ghost movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark ghost movies.
I'm Dan. I despise Hallmark ghost movies, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hello. Happy Christmas week, everybody.
Happy
Thank
Christmas movie season week.
It's great to be
Amazing.
here. It's upon
Wow.
us.
It is upon us.
3 days away from the marathon.
Yeah.
Officially the final week of season 6.
That's right.
Oh,
we
wow.
head
Look
into-
at you.
Wow.
Congrats,
Big
guys.
week
Into
for
our-
us, though. Kickoffs, previews,
All
look
sorts of
backs, look
stuff.
forwards,
Yes.
rankings, anything for content.
Anything
you know what I mean?
else? Yeah, whatever it takes.
DeckTheHallmark.com/marathon on Friday.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll join us.
6
if
p.m.
not
Eastern.
for all of it, for at least some of it. I think it's going to be
a fun time.
it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be live, and anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. A lot could go wrong too.
Lot could go wrong. We're gonna be. You wake up in the middle of the night. You think nobody's there? We're gonna be there.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
talking about
Maybe
who knows
playing
what.
some pool.
Yeah.
Maybe baking some cookies.
If you're not joining us for the middle of the night pool tournament, what are you
Yeah.
doing? What
Where
are you
else
doing?
would- like we were thinking about the prime spot for it, and that
Yes,
was it.
and we said when is the best
Overnight.
time for the pool, and it's the best time
Pool
is
party.
it's a
When,
pool
when
party.
some people are trying to sleep, you have to make a bunch of noise in the pool hall.
knock it around a little bit. And that's exactly right. We're very excited about it, though. We got a ton of stuff planned, and we think it's going to be the best one yet.
Best one yet.
Best one
That's
yet.
the goal every year.
Maybe the
man.
last one.
Could be. Never know.
We're not promised tomorrow. is
We're
all I'm
not.
saying.
Amen.
Seven's a
Amen.
good
We're,
season
we're
to
definitely
end
not
on,
promised
you know?
another year. So who can say?
Season 7 though.
Eat it up. Eat it up.
Eat it up.
Eat it up.
Eat it up.
Act like it's a pizza and eat it up.
I don't love it.
You know what I've been eating up? Philo.
Philo.tv.
And I gotta say, if you're not on Philo yet,
Now is the
this is the
time.
week to
Oh, yeah.
do it, because you want to go on there, you want to save all of the movies to the unlimited DVR. They're going to hang around all holiday season. So if you can't get to one when it's live, you'll have it. You'll be able to utilize the one button ad skip.
Oh,
You'll be
it's a
able to-
no-brainer.
You'll be able to watch our episodes. There's so many reasons why you should get Philo, because it's not just Hallmark. You got the Lifetime, you got the Up, you got so much more.
AMC, VH1, BET, you got all.
Get after it. That's exactly right. When they play some of those other movies on there, the other Christmas movies, the classics. There's so many that get shown throughout the season, and you can have them right
It's a
on
game
Philo.
changer. It's a game changer.
I thought you were going to say
To
something
put it
else.
lightly, yeah.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer and
It's a game
a
changer.
world
and a
changer.
world maker. So
Yes.
Philo.tv/DTH. Join us, will you? It's going to be a fun season. We're grateful to be with them once again. And I'm grateful to be with you guys once again. Another week
Yeah.
is here.
It
I know.
is.
What'd you do over the
Here it
weekend,
is.
Brian?
This weekend?
Oh yeah,
Man,
you were
well,
telling me about it. It
You
wasn't
used to be
yard work.
Obviously, I'm a little limited with the trees still in my yard, but we did
How nice was it this weekend, though?
Dude, the weather. This is what we
Yeah,
work
this
for
is
all
what we
year
dream
long.
about here.
This is what we work for all year long. This weather.
Yeah. It made me want to ghost hunt myself. So this movie was especially.
It made you want to. Oh, okay, I thought you were saying it made you want to ghost hunt. Like you were looking at,
You're
you were
like
hunting
you're in a
yourself for
mirror?
ghosts.
I can see how you got there. Yeah. No, I meant like I wanted to go.
Should we go ghost hunting, Brian?
I freaking love it.
Yeah,
Maybe, at the
during the
marathon.
marathon.
maybe
Yeah.
during the marathon.
Who's to say? It's a big house.
It's
It's a big house.
That's
Lots
where
and lots of room
everyone
in that bad
knows
boy.
the bigger the house, the more ghosts,
ghosts,
can
yeah.
fit.
Ghosts don't deal with small houses,
They
small
don't, they
spaces.
don't like those. They
Yeah.
don't like those. Shall we talk about Haunted Wedding?
Yeah.
Let's.
Haunted Wedding originally premiered on the Hallmark Channel on October 12th, 2024. The final non-Christmas movie of the year on the Hallmark Channel. It, of course, aired on October 12th.
Of course.
when-
Yeah.
Duh.
What day was that?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, October 12th.
The 12th?
And it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off with some ghost hunting. But here's the thing about the ghosts. Sometimes the ghosts don't bite. Obviously, you always hope that they don't bite, literally.
Yeah, man.
But
Whew.
you hope that they do something, but they're not. But you know what is biting? Love. Love is in the air, and Brian proposes.
Thanks,
Hey,
man. Thank you.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
proposes to Jen
Everyone's surprised.
mid-ghost hunt. And she's like, yes. And obviously, they're going to have their wedding in a haunted mansion, not the haunted mansion. That would cost a lot of money to shut down that ride.
Oh, yeah.
But they got a haunted mansion that is supposed to be Very haunted. Three ghosts, three scares, whatever it is.
Three ghost
whatever the
rating,
ranking.
right?
Yeah. Jin goes to the mansion early with her maid of honor Rachel and is convinced that there is supernatural activity afoot. There's even one room where people aren't supposed to go into. Why? It's got to be ghosts. We then see the ghost herself, Angelique, and
Angelique,
who does not seem to be a fan of love. She seems very annoyed that there's going to be a wedding taking place here. One night before going to bed, Jin decides to sneak into the empty room, which is a bold move to do at a place you're staying at. And we find out that Angelique, I will call her that the entire synopsis, died when she was 26 while she was in love with someone who looks exactly like Brian.
Yeah, go. Yeah, high five on that one too.
And that's pretty
Thanks.
cool. And so some say that she died of a broken heart. Speaking of Brian, he is now on his way with his best man, Steve. Let's give it up for Steve.
All right, Steve.
We love Steve. When Brian gets there, Jin takes him straight to the ghost room and for a little bit of ghost hunting. And Angelique immediately shows up, clear as crystal. I mean, you can see her clear, like she's not clear. But when Brian walks in, Angelique is like, "Oh my gosh, it's you, and it's Malcolm." And he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm Brian.
Malcolm.
I'm getting married to Jen." And she's like, "There will be no wedding. There's going to be no wedding going on here." And she starts crying, and it's a whole mess. Brian and Jen decide that they need to help her cross over. And what better way to do that than by calling in an expert that is going to help them figure this out, because Brian believes that this expert can do miracles. Angelique shows up and explains to Jen that she fell in love with Malcolm and all this stuff, and it's just she can't get over how amazing Malcolm is and how much she misses him. So they decide that they're going to go to the Historical Society to try to find out as much as they can about them. And afterwards, they go to this pub, this brewery, and they find Malcolm. This was his spot. This was his place. And it's where he died. Died there.
Yeah.
I died in a small town.
In a
I
pub.
died in a
Yeah.
pub. And so he's obviously not able to leave the bar. Angelique not able to leave the mansion. So how are they to get together to cross over? Well, one option is a ghost house. It is similar to a genie lamp, but instead of teeny tiny
and
genie
lamp.
coming out, ghost gets teeny tiny and goes into house, and then you can take the house anywhere you want to. It's like putting a ghost in your purse or something. You know, you just bring it with you. So they bring the expert to the pub with the ghost house, and he explains that Malcolm needs to try to get teeny tiny, envision himself going into the house, and as he does that, he doesn't get teeny tiny. Instead, he just kind of blows up the ghost house. So that's not going to work. But then they consider the attachment theory, which is a ghost can attach itself to something that matters a lot to them, and then they would then be a part of that object and be able to go to and fro.
That's right.
And so they go to Malcolm, and he is like, "That medal over there, that medal belongs to me. It means a lot to me." So Brian goes to the bartender and is like, "Hey, how can I get? Can you give me that medal?" And he's like, "No, $2,400. All right. Brian pays for it.
Yeah,
so
he does. Just
shout
put it
out
on the
to
credit
Brian.
card, no
Just
big
put
deal.
the credit card.
Those
you
Shout
points,
got.
out,
man.
Brian. Yeah, there's points.
Malcolm.
we got double on that. 4,800.
At a restaurant? Yeah.
He gets the medal, he touches it, and it works. He is now attached to this medal, and he is able to walk outside.
Oh, what a day.
But Brian gets bummed and drops the medal down a storm drain, and poof, Malcolm goes back into the pub. This whole ghost hunt is causing Brian and Jenna to grow further apart, and Jenna is beginning to realize that she just wants a wedding. Sometimes I just want a wedding, you know. Sometimes I can't. I can mute you. Sometimes I can. I just want a wedding. I don't want to have to do all this stuff.
A little spirit in there.
He's got a spirit inside of him. He's attached to him. So it is the week of the wedding. It's and she's beginning to have these feelings. And but they decide that if they're going to get married, they got to give this one more go. So they go back to the historical society and they find out that they have the rings on file that belonged to Malcolm and to Angelique. And so they are able to convince the historical society guy to give them the rings. They take the rings to Malcolm and it works. They bring Malcolm to Angelique and it's there, and they kiss. It's amazing. It's working. So that's wonderful. It is now time for their wedding. Brian and Jenna, they share their vows. Malcolm and Angelique, they share their vows. Both couples celebrate with a kiss, and both couples dance the night away until Angelique and Malcolm fade away into the light. But most importantly, Rachel and Steve kiss. And we all cheer, and that, my friends, was Haunted Wedding.
We did it.
We did do it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to break the final non-Christmas movie down.
Boy, it's that time.
Here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Brian, it's Dan, and we're here today to talk about Haunted Wedding, a spooky movie, a scary movie, a Halloween movie, you might say.
Indeed.
And the final non-Christmas movie of the year for the Hallmark Channel. We are here to share our thoughts, and what better way to do that than with our hot takes?
That's a good thing we came up with that.
I know.
It was us.
No one has
Man,
ever
no one's
started a
done a hot
movie
take.
review
7
by
years
giving their
almost.
thoughts.
We did it in 2018, year of our Lord.
People were like, why aren't people giving their opinions on
Why is it
movies?
they just kind of skate around
They
it?
skate around it.
We need
Like,
a hot
give your
take
real
segment.
thoughts. Yeah.
Give a-
That was
like,
us.
a real
That was us.
There
gang.
were podcasts that were giving fake thoughts.
Fake thoughts. Yeah, and they were getting to them later in the
tepid-
episode. But a
tepid-
hot take out of
Right
the gate.
out the gate, yeah.
Man.
Well, it's still steaming.
Sometime in
Sheesh.
between minute 12 and minute 24, depending
Right
on
out
the
of the
episode.
gate, as we say. Yes.
Let's get to our hot takes for Haunted Wedding. Brian, what do you
Yeah.
think of Haunted Wedding?
I like this a lot. Very different fall love story. Like, it wasn't these two are going to fall in love. We're getting all these fall feels. We got haunted feels, fall feels for sure, but just a different story, which I thought was very cool. Like, very cool to watch. The cast, phenomenal. I don't think we could speak highly enough about the cast.
Yeah.
Lauren Cochrane, her comedic timing is just great. Her and Steve belong together forever, obviously. I didn't expect Brian and Malcolm to be the same person. I thought
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna look
Accent
similar.
on point, too.
Yeah, like I didn't. So that was like a
Dominic Sherwood.
Dominic
And
Sherwood,
he
yeah.
sure would.
He sure would, and he did.
He was great.
He was great.
He was
And
great.
I thought it was just going to be a look-alike, kind of similar. It was the same guy. They got double duty. So
Yeah.
very cool. Like, impressed with that. Janelle can sing. They let her sing. Please
Yeah.
let her sing.
Yeah.
And then
great.
Atuvle.
She's always so
Yeah, we
got
got to get to the Atuvle of it all.
Atuvle should be on.
When are we starting our Erica Atuvle fan cast?
today.
It's right now, right this second. The guy should be on a postage stamp to begin with.
Yes.
At the very least.
Yeah, at very least.
The very least. A coin, anything that is like memorabilia, a flag, I don't know. Like, he's so great. He's so fun. He's the best.
And I'll chime in here because I want to detach that from the hot take I have for this movie. But Erica Atuvle, and I don't say this about many people on Hallmark Channel. In fact, I think most of them, I think it's a great spot for them. If you think of the character actors that are great in movies, like character actors that have made a name for themselves being the quirky and or with in movies that you see in the
Steven
theater.
Tobolowsky.
Tobolowsky, Christopher Walken, like
Oh, man.
big
Yes.
names. Erica Atuvle could do that. What he does in these movies is so quirky and different, and every character he plays is slightly different and super quirky.
We're writing Tuvle a movie.
He's
We are.
really,
We have to.
really funny.
1000%.
And he gets the bit, and it's a joy to watch dude do his thing. Every scene, he doesn't waste a second of it, but he's not trying to take over. He's not trying to wrinkle the page. He's playing his character, but like when that thing falls apart, like we'll get to it
The
later.
cake, yeah.
I mean,
when the
he's
fire,
just,
there's a fire, and there's his reaction to the fire. Like it
the
just
guy's punching well above his weight class for
Yeah,
character
yeah.
actors on Hallmark. That's all I'm saying.
he's
He does an
elevates
amazing
it.
job.
He just elevates.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's so great and
Yes.
so much confidence in him when he's
Yeah.
in a movie. And everybody rose to the occasion in this, and it was such a different type of movie. But he's a standout all
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah,
and I had a
listen.
really good time here.
Anybody can play a best friend, but can you play a best friend that we are rooting for,
Yeah,
that we are
yeah.
like cheering for, that we're laughing with, that we are remembering? How many best friends do you remember in these movies? Very
Yeah.
few.
But
Very
also, they always used to make the best friend this super, like, quote unquote, manly dude. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Who's like, we just need to go
Yeah.
play darts at the bar and drink a couple of brewskis. And Tuvley gets to play this very just, like, loves baking,
Right.
comfortable in his own skin,
sentimental guy.
opinionated, like, not the guy who's just a big, dumb animal. And that makes it even better. And he's super quirky and he's funny, too. So
Yeah.
it works out great. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do really like this movie. Of course, this movie is right up my alley. I love ghost shows. I love ghost hunting. I love ghosts. I
Maybe
love
even-
scary movies. I think, you know, a Hallmark would never do it. I would have liked for the ghost aspect of this movie is such a joke. You know, it's such a, like, it's just silly. It's just silly fun. It's not meant to be even, no one's ever at all scared of the
it's
ghost
not-
or
like, it's
anything.
not scary.
It's
I mean,
more
their
of-
relationship is serious, but they're
Yeah.
not seriously
No,
scary.
No, yeah. What I'm saying is, it's like ghost hunting
This
in
movie's
this
a
movie
screwball comedy.
is a
Yes.
joke.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
fact that they are ghost hunters is a joke. And I understand, like, it's Hallmark. They're never going to go down, although, you know, we got Hallmark Plus now, but they're never go, like, oh my gosh, unscripted ghost hunting show with Hall stars. Write that down.
Yeah, got it.
You told yourself to, and you are writing
I
it
am.
down.
I'm
Very
we
good.
said it.
Very
we're writing
good.
it.
But they-
Everybody's covered. Yes.
It's so like that part of it, like the fact that the ghost was so unserious.
Totally
It was
hosts it.
such a. It was, oh my gosh.
And he's afraid of ghosts, and so he's
Oh
always
my
scared.
gosh.
yeah.
He hates it. He hates
Yeah.
the
Yes.
show. He hates everything
sign
about
me up right
yeah.
now.
It's
Yeah.
such a it's so silly and whatever that it kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Okay.
But I get why they had to do it that way. They're not gonna ever have they're never gonna have a scare.
Scary
you know,
movie,
they're never
yeah.
gonna have a scare in a Hallmark movie. But as the Halloween movie, as the ghost movie, I would have liked for there to be at least some moment
They
in
never
there.
had a Halloween or ghost
I know,
movie.
but you know,
It's a fall movie.
for there to be
It's what it is. There's plenty fall in there.
Angelique shows up and Ginger's like, yeah, there she is. Like,
Yeah.
there's no spook to it.
No.
And I think even I would have appreciated some of that to where ghost hunting wasn't just a big joke in the movie.
Yeah. Little
Because
spook, yeah.
it's a thing that they love, and treat it with some respect. First of all,
I think they treated
Teresa.
ghost hunting with the respect that I'm not making a joke here. Like, I think ghost hunting is ridiculous, but the two leads being ghost hunters, they didn't denigrate
They weren't making
that.
fun of them for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I liked the movie overall. I
Falling
think it could've been
Together,
a bit better.
Real West, Autumn and Apple Hill. You said they got better. Every one of them got better.
This one is not my favorite.
Okay.
I would say
Yeah, it's tough.
It isn't tough.
It's not?
For me,
It's fundamentally not tough.
Man, it's tough.
I think this is probably number 3.
Bran
of
has
those.
lost his ever-loving mind. This is easily one of the best movies of the year. I love this movie. This movie's great.
Dan loved the movie.
Like, it's great.
Dan loved the movie.
This movie's fantastic. The cast across the board.
Yeah.
The cast, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody in this movie destroys. I have one problem, and it's a wait what, so I'm going to not give it away here. I have one issue with it. One, this cast crushes. It's a screwball comedy. It deals with ghost, but the leads, Janelle Parrish, Dominic Sherwood, are both amazing. Then you get the best character actor Hallmark has doing his thing. That's Rachel and Steve. That was funny. The ghost love story worked. This is how you make this movie. I gave this 0 ghosts in the
Yeah,
fall preview.
you sure
0.
did.
Didn't know it had Erica Tuvley in it. Wasn't confident they could do it correctly. I talked to Nina Wyman after watching this movie. I texted her and I was like, hey, this is great. It's clever. It's quick. It's funny. It's snappy. It's everything you want one of these movies to be. They take this material with the exact amount of levity you need to take for it. Hallmark or not, in my opinion. I thought it was pitch perfect across the board, save for one thing. We'll talk about the wait what. And she said this was a movie brought to Hallmark. The idea was brought to Hallmark, but then she came in to make it what it was, which is where you get probably those contrasting styles. Having said that, I can't imagine wanting more out of a movie on Hallmark Channel than this movie. You care about the love interests, you care about the CD plot lines, and you care about the ghost. And it's really funny.
Yeah.
I like this is as good a fall movie as I've seen since we've been doing these shows. It's really, really good. Miles better than the other three movies, guys. Like,
I disagree.
miles
The
better.
ghost stuff didn't work for me.
Oh,
That's
my
what
gosh.
it comes down to.
Oh.
I didn't care for it,
Yeah.
and
It's fun to play the role of Dan from time to time, right?
I'm much more like I love the two leads and I love the best friends, and all of that
man.
worked for me. The ghost stuff didn't work.
Ghost stuff was just enough. If they had made it the central, if they had made it the A plot, I'd have had a problem. But I think the A plot was clearly how do we get this wedding on and do we get married? And I think that was the B plot, and it worked perfectly for me.
Okay, it's time for all the feels. Where we talk about what this movie gives feels. Brian,
Yeah, two feels, and one actually is sort of that balance.
I'm sorry, I got carried away. You said you'd have this third of those four movies. What two
Yeah.
movies are ahead of it?
the
Apple Hill and Real West?
yeah.
Wow.
I would probably have. I think it'd be a Duke out for number 2.
Wow.
I think it would be a
and
Duke
you
out for
think
number
the
2.
Wes Brown, Aaron Cahill, Apple Hill movie is miles better than this one?
I enjoyed it more. Yeah.
It was super fall.
This is definitely a higher concept movie.
Oh,
this,
his
movie
hers
definitely,
is
We're not-
this movie definitely takes more risk than
It does.
than
Yeah.
this movie. Like this movie is
This is, for me, one of the rare movies that takes a bigger risk and pays it off bigger and works more.
But the conversation from last week plays perfectly here. Like I still adore old Hallmark,
Yes,
and I
correct.
still like that. Still
Yeah.
works for me. It's
Yeah.
never worked
Correct,
for you.
correct.
And so
I just thought this movie was a cut above what we normally see on the channel. I think this movie qualitatively is a cut above what we're used to seeing, even in 2024. I don't think it's my favorite movie of the year, but I think it's in the top 3, up there with my Dreams of You and the France movie. I think it's qualitatively, if everything else plays in that 4, 5, 6 out of 10 sandbox,
listen,
this is a 7.
for
or 8.
me personally, this fall it's everything that I wanted when we started fall with
Yeah,
was
you're right.
and
We
hers.
talked
And
about
we
that,
did
yeah.
this whole thing where it's like, hey, if you're gonna do fall, freaking do fall.
Yeah.
They've done fall.
They've done fall.
They've done fall this year, and I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. And the fall movies that were actually fall, I don't think it's a coincidence that those are my
Sure.
at the top. They're gonna be all of those are gonna
Real
be at the
West
top of my
isn't
list.
super fall.
No, but it still worked.
It worked for me a lot.
Yeah.
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 Let's
Where would
get
you have it?
Probably 2. I think Real West.
You have Real West
because
one.
that is so
you
different.
have Autumn and Apple Hill one. I have. That's going to be fun in the ranking.
Sure.
Well, yeah,
is.
but I also think that proves that Hallmark is doing something
Yeah,
right.
agreed.
Because
Yeah,
they are
covering the bases
covering
here,
the
yeah.
bases, and something
Big
is going to
time.
work.
Because
for
I think
everybody.
Autumn and Apple is a bad movie. Last week when we talked about it, I specifically said Hallmark is still throwing out
Yeah.
these movies because they know people like them.
Yeah,
I have
for
no
sure.
problem with that.
Yeah. Let's get to the feels.
Yeah,
What'd you
let's.
think?
Yeah, so one of my feels is the ghosting of it all, and it's sort of how they balance like the intuition and the science.
Yes.
And they use it for comedy, they use it to move the story, and it's like really cool. It's not just they're not making fun of it; they use it.
I thought they did a
And
great job with
so
it.
that was really great. The other thing is you can tell this was written by a pro. And I forgot Wyman wrote this. I remember seeing her name on the screen. Like in this movie, she does what the creators of South Park preach, and it's like all over writing courses. Everybody talks about this method of like when you're writing, you use but or therefore instead of and then. So whatever's happening next, make it a but. Like they're doing this, but this happens, or this happened, therefore this has to happen. Never do this and then they do this and then they do
Yeah,
this.
never.
And in this movie, it is always therefore or but. They have to take a hayride, but her dad's allergic to
it's great.
he's got the allergies. He gets the coin, but there's a fight outside and he loses the coin. It's
Yeah.
like always tension, always tension.
Have we mentioned the classic Santa in this? Like
He's great.
He's
Oh,
great.
The father,
And
yeah.
he shows up for hardly anything.
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
he's great.
You're right. So many.
I do think
people,
that the
players.
script and cast
This
is it.
I for what it's worth, this is potentially the strongest cast of the year. Like,
Oh my goodness.
from top to bottom. And I didn't know the Dominic Sherwood really. I
Me
wasn't
either.
very
He's
familiar with
great.
him.
He was
great
in both roles.
Great.
Yeah.
Janelle Parrish. I just am really starting to love her because she's doing something new and
I
different.
think she's
in
one of
every
the best
movie.
on the network.
She's great.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my feels right there.
Listen, we've talked about the Tuvley of it all, but it is tough to emphasize how exciting it was that him and Rachel ended up together at the end of this movie. Just not only is it so rare for us to care about the friends in the movies, it is even more rare for a love interest down there to be as important to me as the leads are.
Yeah.
And dadgummit, if I didn't love it, and it's one of those things where like I'm ready. Give those two. Those I thought
Give 'em a
Rachel was
movie.
great too.
She was.
Give them a movie. Let them come along for the ride. Tell their story, because I thought that they were both dynamite.
I think-
and really engaging.
I honestly think it would have been just as much fun for him to keep trying and her to keep being like, no, like that would have been funny too.
Yes.
They were that good of a couple as the C storyline in this movie that I thought they could carry a movie easily for sure.
You got anything else?
Mine, when the first time when Erica Tuvley's eyes get really big when that thing falls apart and he freezes. It's just great. It's just like he needs to be in a Hall of the
He's
Holly
so
movie.
funny.
Hall of the Holly 3 with Erica Tuvley.
Oh, you kidding me right now?
Try and stop me.
What I love about, like, you talk about it with his eyes, but the way that he utilizes his face,
Yes.
Yeah.
it-
His
it
expressions,
is better than anyone else on Hallmark Channel. I think, like, just the way his facial expressions just tell the whole story.
Yeah, he crushes it.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the Wait What and the What the Hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
That's overrated.
I do love that me being a Dan is me still saying a movie is one of my favorites of the year. That's right.
No, you said I liked it. The ghost stuff didn't work for me. You never
Yes.
said one of my favorites of the year. It wasn't.
It is one of my favorites.
Okay,
of the year.
it is one of
you
your.
go.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
all
Yeah, no,
different.
all these
Yeah.
fall movies are aside from Real West. In my book, they're all
We
going to
can take
end
it
up
to the
in.
tape. Your hot take was I liked this. The ghost stuff didn't work for me.
Yes.
It's probably going to end up third on the list of fall movies. Never. It's one of my favorites of the year. I didn't hear that.
No, that's fair. I maybe
Okay.
didn't say that.
Okay. Because the fact that this isn't anybody's, I can't, as someone who likes movies that are made well, this not being a favorite of the year is crazy to me.
It's one
yeah,
of
but you shouldn't be surprised that that's
No,
not
no,
even
no,
close to my number one category for how I would rank the movies. But it is one of my favorites of the year.
Oh,
I will say.
yeah.
But all of these
Ranking is going to be fun.
these fall movies freaking slapped.
Yeah,
I don't.
They
100%.
slapped
I
this
would.
year.
I would hard disagree with you.
They
there.
slapped
No,
this year.
they did not. They did.
They did.
My two favorite fall movies aren't about fall. Real West, His and Hers. Now, aside from this one, like I think Real West and His and Hers are better than Falling Together and Autumn in Apple Hill. So like
Man, his and hers, it's just not.
they're great together.
Yeah,
though.
it's. I know, but it's just
They're
not
great
fall.
together.
It's just not fall.
It's not fall at all.
Yeah.
But when we're ranking movies, that doesn't matter. We're not ranking the
It
fall
kind of
movies.
does
We're
though.
Does it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
plays
fall.
into it a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh
a
my
little
God,
bit.
you guys are insane.
Plays into it a little bit,
All right.
at least. It's time for the Wait What. It's where we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? I'll start with you, Brian.
Twist my arm and make me come up with a wait what or two. This was tough because this whole movie is just you got to buy into what they're doing
Yes,
and everything about
yeah.
it. The speeches around the fire, I guess I could have done without the kind of like a best man speech. I don't know. It was a little weird. It didn't really fit the vibe. I thought they could have skipped that. So I don't think that really had a place here. The butler didn't speak. They just kept having him carry bags. I mean, give a line. Give him a line. Give him something. A little, throw him something. Like, I would have loved to hear his thoughts on a few, like just muttering something
yeah.
would have been really, really great. But just I don't know, having him say nothing the whole time was like, just hook the guy up with a line. And the inn owner's just involved in everything. She's just at the campfire. She's in the kitchen. She's just in everything with nothing else to do, which I feel like she should have something else to work on.
Yeah, these
but,
are scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah. So I really was. I got to the end of this and I'm like, oh boy, did not fill out this section. So I was just bought in for the ride, really. So I don't know. I'll leave the good ones for you guys to bring up.
Well, you talk about a ride. Let's talk about the hayride.
Sure.
A charcuterie board with fruit. It's a bad idea.
It's a
on
bad
hayride.
idea.
It's an all-around bad idea. I don't really care what the surface is that you're being pulled on. You're on a wagon, sitting on hay with no seatbelt, and so there's something about a wagon that just, it doesn't matter if you're on a paved road. It's gonna shake and it's not
Shake and bake,
charcuterie
yeah.
food. It's not a charcuterie safe space.
Absolutely
It
not.
isn't. No, it's and we have a list of those.
We do.
On the website. You can go to
The state
go to it. If
requires
you go
it.
to deckhallmark.com/cute, that's
Yes.
what you'll get.
Yes.
Charcuterie safe
It's
spaces.
not what you
And
think,
and a
but
picture of my face.
below the charcuterie.
You know, Brian's out here, not you. Brian in this movie's out here like he came up with attachment theory when it comes to ghosts. Shove off, Brian. Watch a single show. Listen to a single ghost podcast. This is a very
All right,
essential
Brian.
theory
Okay, Brian.
when
Oh,
it comes
man.
to podcasting is that ghosts attach themselves to objects. Read a book.
I didn't
so
know about
cool.
this.
Read a book.
You're
Yeah.
so-
I didn't know this was real. I thought they made it all up.
I know, and that's what they were hoping for. And Brian was trying to come in, not you.
Do you
Brian
think
was
more
trying to
people-
come in
Brian?
here and take
Not
all the
that
credit
Brian.
for attachment theory.
Or
It
you
works.
think more people are going to be you or Brian watching this? movie?
Brian,
100%.
they're just better people than me because when the metal, which for some reason they took out of the plaque, falls down into the storm drain, they're so sad because it's like, oh, our mission has failed. My first thought would be like, is there any way I can get my $2,400
back.
$2,400 literally down the drain?
Literally, yeah.
That would hurt. That would sting a
Stings.
lot. But they're just better. They really are invested in this relationship, which shows that they're better people, and also that Brian just has way more money than me, which is true there and true here. Lastly, the pastor says, I'm under the understanding that you all wrote your own vows. Couldn't be shorter.
No.
Couldn't be shorter vows.
Yeah.
You know, typically when you want them to be personal, like talk about your love of Christmas,
They pop it in real
etc. They couldn't have tried less on their vows, and maybe that's because of the length of the movie. Maybe that's because they were working so hard at bringing these two lovebirds
little
together.
distracted, yeah.
But at that point, if you don't have time to write the vows, maybe just do the old standbys, or the standboys.
You can do the standboys and
They-
stand
Stand
bys.
boys or girls.
I promise to love you
Kiss the bride.
forever. And as someone who goes to a wedding, I appreciate a short vow.
Oh, we love a
Oh,
short.
we love a short
We love
vow.
a short vow.
But if you're gonna write them, you gotta write them, right?
Yeah,
you gotta
you gotta write 'em.
put some personality in
course
there. Dano,
I do need to point out that she's a teacher taking a week off before her wedding in October. Not happening. The PTO for teachers, that's a joke. Any teacher watching this would have been like, no. When I had to take off time for my actual honeymoon, I got docked pay. I got 2 days and then they docked my pay because it wasn't professional growth and development, nor was it working or sick. And they wouldn't let me combine them at that point.
You got the love bug.
Yeah. So you see what you did there. The big thing that bothered me in this movie, and the only thing that really bothered me in this movie, is the guy that they bring in who is a professional ghost hunter. Like, why? Why like they keep giving him chances, and I assume it's for comedic effect.
Yeah.
It's not very funny. But a Brian, not this Brian, being a real ghost hunter,
Yeah.
being obsessed with this guy that's so clearly a fraud, it just was stupid. It was a dumb thing
That's
to do.
right. That's right.
To bring this guy in for 2 scenes of this movie. You bring him in once, I think it's stupid, but I'm like, well, at least you learn your lesson. You bring him in a second time, it's like, guys, he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. And I thought they were going to explain it. I thought they were going to be like, oh, I actually really wanted to give this guy a chance because he's a friend of mine.
you're putting the words what left a bad taste in my
but
mouth
that's
in regards
2 scenes.
to it's a farce. Listen, it's a
Oh
farce.
my gosh. You just need to calm down.
Just
over there.
take it seriously.
It's-
Give it respect.
It's maybe 5 minutes of an
Or
83
maybe
minute
5
movie.
seconds.
You nailed it. It's maybe 5 minutes of an 83-minute movie. It doesn't work. My wait, what was having him in the movie?
Really? I liked him.
Well,
I liked what he brought. And
It's fine. He was not a bad actor. My problem is would these characters bring
In that
this
scenario,
guy
do
in
that, yeah.
in that scenario twice?
Right.
After the first time was a sham, and they knew it was a sham because they could see the ghost, they would never bring him in again. That was a big wait what for me. Huge.
Huge.
Also, if you're gonna talk to a
biggest
ghost,
wait what?
biggest wait what? They're eating the ghost. So if you're going to be at a bar and talk to a ghost, what you shouldn't do is sit on the same side of the table and talk to the ghost on that side, because then everyone is going to think you're crazy, which is what happens in this movie. You would naturally have one of you sit on that side, right? Like you would do that to keep people from being like,
of course.
what are the crazies doing over there?
I don't know if I would have thought about it.
Really?
You know, I think
I
I
would
been
immediately
like,
be like, one of us is sitting over there. We're not doing this thing where people keep coming up to us going, what are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the ghost. Shove off.
And then two others.
I don't want to hurt my neck.
First, the big one I have is when the medallion goes into the sewer drain.
The medallion.
Medallion.
The black
The black
dahlia.
medallion.
The black
The black
dahlia.
medallion. When it goes in the storm drain, wouldn't Malcolm go with it? Isn't that how that works?
Well,
No,
he went back
100%.
in though.
Yeah,
But that storm,
I follow the thing.
he
yeah.
would go with
follow the thing.
Wouldn't he go into the storm
That
drain?
is correct, Dan.
But he can't pick
it's
it up.
It's the attachment theory. So he is now I'm being serious though. He is attached.
The black
to,
medallion.
he's attached to the medallion.
Spooky music we
Medallion.
could play.
So he would go with it.
would
Yes.
go with
He
medallion.
wouldn't go back.
He wouldn't go back in.
And
he would go with
the
it.
only way that he would go back is if the medallion was destroyed,
There
which is
are-
not destroyed. It falls
There
down.
are definitely moments in this movie that the wedding vows where they don't have enough. Like this movie needs to be at about an hour 40, right?
That's right.
To give them time to go. Oh my gosh, I've seen a ghost. What in the world? It's real.
They got
How
the
do we-"
characters to get there too.
And they have great characters to give obviously Erica Tuvley more time. But there were some shortcuts they took, vows being one, and then the coin sending him back to the pub being another that don't quite add up in this movie, for sure. And
I
then-
wrote my vows. I love you.
Yeah. This is look,
And
it's
I
from
put
the
my
heart.
heart and
It's from
soul
the
into
heart.
that.
And
I
then
love you.
Lastly, they finally get the ghost couple back together. They are not ready for their wedding. The entire wedding party is down there. Steve and Rachel are trying to stall. Cut to nighttime, and they are completely made up in their wedding attire. So the wedding party waited another hour or two minimum for that wedding to start. Kudos to those folks. They're doing a great job.
Good
That's all I got.
folks. It's time for What the Hallmark is, where we wonder what could have been, maybe having some clarity on any questions that we still have. Brian.
Yeah, I'm wondering if everything.
Brian, not that
this Brian,
This Brian,
one
not that
here,
Brian.
If everything they do is haunted or ghost themed, because for friends and family, that's got to get old.
It's going to get old quick. Yeah.
Anniversaries, birthday, everything can't be ghost themed.
No.
Right? And haunted,
No.
like hunting ghosts. So I'm wondering if that's what they're going to go. Is there going to be an intervention at some point where they try to.
Would be thrilled to see a sequel to this movie where they go to another haunted place
Yes.
just to investigate because they're now legit ghost hunters.
Yeah, they start a little ghost hunting business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just wondering. Yeah, that would be great to see the follow up. There's a lot
Yeah.
to play with there.
As they are, Jen and Rachel are showing up to the inn, the only other guest at the inn is leaving in a hurry, mad that she served him gluten.
I think she lied.
Yeah, she was trying to
for
cover
Ghost.
it up.
He's
Okay.
running away, and she's like,
Oh.
I served him gluten.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not quick enough for that.
Yeah, it
I
was
was
the
just
ghost
like,
thing.
you have one guest and you can't.
Yeah.
Get the allergies
You can't
right.
remember
It's
that?
real
It's a
bad.
tough joke. The
tough.
gluten joke
Yeah.
is risky.
The gluten
yeah.
joke's always risky.
Yeah.
But
This day and
okay,
age, the
biscuit for the
I'll-
biscuit.
I will buy that and I will withdraw.
Sure.
You withdraw. Use and withdraw. It's very good.
All right, take it
Mine's
off the
already been
board.
talked about. It's Rachel and Steve. When do I get a Rachel and Steve movie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care the circumstance. It could be a road trip. It could be a spring forward. It could be a June wedding. It could be a Valentine's. It could be a. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. The next movie that you have a script for but don't really have anything else lined up for. Now it's a Rachel and Steve movie, and I think that's more than fair.
It is more than fair, Dano. We did, everybody.
Yeah, we
Congratulations.
did.
The final non-Christmas movie of the year. It's hard to believe that it's already here, but it is in the books. It is time for the Double Decker of the Week, though. It's where we dive deep into the life of one of the Double Deckers that has signed up for Bramble Jam Plus at the Double Decker tier or higher, which I must say, if you are on the fence about it,
Now's the time.
now's the time.
Oh, yeah.
We're about to push out so much stuff.
You get all the
and
video, you
you'll
get all- you
That's
get all of
exactly
it.
right. You get the Facebook community. You get to watch all of the Christmas movies. There's a thread inside the group. People chat along.
like you're watching
live.
all the movies with your
It's
best
so
friends.
much fun. this is the best time of the year to join Bourbon
right.
Jam Plus, although there's never a bad
never a
time.
bad time.
But you will also get your story told.
You get discounts on all of our events.
That's true.
You get all kinds of fun stuff.
It's and you're going to tell the stories of the people, whether they want it or not, because you do the
They
deep
don't have a
dive.
choice,
We don't have a
You do the
choice.
deep dive, and you tell the stories of the people that are signed up. Who do we have today, Dan?
This week's double-decker of the week, Sarah Morgan. Sarah Morgan.
Round of applause for
Sarah.
Sarah.
That's
great.
Sarah, really doing some great work out there.
That seems like a hard name to Google Plus. How do
There's
you
a
know
lot.
that's
You
the
gotta
right
sift
Sarah
through,
Morgan?
for sure.
Sift through. Well, the stuff is pretty advanced. It knows kind of what you're looking for. And,
Oh.
and so it doesn't really, for someone with my caliber of research expertise, it's not too bad. Sarah doing what she's always wanted to do, opening up I guess a grocery store of sorts that focuses on, everything's a niche now.
Yeah,
you gotta have a
micro
niche.
even.
Yeah, and so what she's doing is focusing on her favorite food, which is beans. And so her store is just all beans.
Here we go. Okay.
Just beans.
It's all beans.
All beans. and that's
She has
all.
a store.
Yes.
And it's all just sells beans.
That's
Sounds.
it.
I wouldn't go in.
Why not?
I don't like beans.
You don't like beans?
Yeah.
Do you know any? You don't know somebody who likes beans?
I'm sure you know someone that likes
but
beans. Everybody knows
This is where
somebody
you're gonna
likes
get the
beans.
best beans.
Okay, fine. If I
What's the catch here,
I've
Brian?
never bought beans for someone else though. There's always
But you
something.
can send them. You know where the best beans are.
Yeah. You can
Sure.
probably order online.
Okay, if I wanted to send beans
Yeah.
to my favorite bean loving friend,
Yeah.
where would I go? What's the name of the store?
Well, it's named after her 6 favorite beans, which is beans, 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 beans. Is the store.
Beans, 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 beans,
Yeah,
beans,
it's named
beans.
after black beans, the baked beans, garbanzo beans, lima beans.
Why'd she
green-
pick 6?
Green.
Those are just the top 6, the big 6, if you
The
will.
store is named the word beans 6 times.
Bean, yeah.
Is there any sort of like zany like play on words or a way that it's brought to the people where you see
Well, you have
it?
to. You need a code word to get in, and I haven't figured it. That's something I can't find. It has
really?
to be like a pun, like a bean pun.
I am so far out at sea
Sarah
here,
is
Brian.
just doing it, man.
Yeah.
Beans are important to her. She doesn't want anybody who doesn't truly care about beans to get in. So
What about human beings?
no, that's not one of the top 6, unfortunately,
not.
Dan.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
no.
And refried beans also not on the list, so don't even try.
Don't even think about it.
Hey,
how y'all doing? Welcome to Beans, 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 Beans. I'm Daryl.
That was 7 beans, Daryl.
Beans.
You want beans? Better have a code. Not just going to let you in here to buy my beans.
Beans.
Beans, 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 beans.
Beans.
Come on down, maybe, if you have a code.
1-800
Beans, 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 beans.
Well, she doesn't have the 800 number yet. I would be careful with that.
What do you? That's her
What in the
commercial.
world?
Yeah,
it's her commercial.
it's something I found. It's actually in flux.
She must have it live now. She put it in the commercial.
Oh man, I don't know. I'd be careful with that 800 number. Beans. That's all.
This is some of your worst work.
Beans, 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 beans.
Not only,
Sarah Morgan
not only did you
it's
not
a
get the code
healthy-
word. Not only did you not
How
get the
do
code word.
I don't. It's a
You're
pun.
pushing
It's
faulty
a-
info about
it's
the
a-
1-800
We
number.
don't
She
even
put
have
it
a
in.
way
pun.
to get in the store.
It's
We
a
don't have a
bean
way to
pun.
get in the store.
You guys don't like beans. No
But
wonder.
she put the 1-800 number in the commercial, and then you come in here with
I
the
feel like
audacity saying it's not real.
I
It's
think
her commercial.
Sarah's jumping the gun there is all. I don't know. Maybe she's not ready for
Thanks,
prime
Sarah.
time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll be back next time with another one. Until then, maybe the first to wish you
Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.